Hi, I'm Mitch Young, Superintendent of Forsyth County Schools.
And I'm Mike Valdez, Chairman of the Forsyth County Board of Education.
We're here today to talk a little bit about property tax relief in Forsyth County. Specifically, we want to talk about House Bill 717 and House Bill 581.
Yeah, so these are two bills that there's a lot of discussion out in the community about them right now, and the Board of Education has a choice before it, whether to opt into House Bill 581 or opt out. House Bill 717 and 581 are two very similar bills. They're both homestead exemptions. They're both going to bring significant property tax relief, and they're both going to stop the large ebb and flow, or really more flow than ebb these years, where your property taxes went way up 20-30% in a year. Either one of these bills is going to solve that problem, and at the end of this process, one of those two bills is going to remain in place. In fact, right now, our locally crafted House Bill 717 is in full effect as of January 1st. So there is a homestead exemption today.
And there's no opting out of that. That is the law of the land in Forsyth County. So at a minimum, we are going to have your property tax reassessments capped at 4% from year to year. The question is what to do with this house-crafted bill that is at us now called 581, which was also voted on and passed in the recent election. But the way these are calculated make a big difference, particularly in long-term budget planning for our school system. Yeah.
So a little bit of history. In February of 2023, the Forsyth County Board of Education, after several years of studying the question of homestead exemptions, it requested that the General Assembly self-impose on us a 4% cap on our taxes. This was done in complete coordination with our local legislative delegation, and it came into effect, and it was on your ballot in November and came into effect in January. Fast forward a year in 2024 legislative session, and a second homestead exemption, House Bill 581, which is now statewide, is crafted. This one is based on a variable rate based on CPI, which is a national average that's not localized to our county, while the 717 bill is specifically crafted for Forsyth County and analyzed as a very lawful measure.
It was, and the cap that we came up with, 4%, was after our local delegates and our school board and our district leaders poring over our history of our budgets and our finances and our projections, and we arrived at that number of 4% that would keep us restrained and tight on spending, but also continue to provide the educational services and the high-quality teaching and safe school environments that everybody's become accustomed to in this community.
Yep. And let's face it, guys, we've all seen my own personal tax bill is up almost 70% over the last 6 or 7 years. We've all seen it. We've taken real measures by lowering the millage rate, by asking for the homestead exemption, by maintaining our senior exemption. We're one of only 2 counties in the state that offer a full abatement to our seniors. And no matter what decision is made in this process, that will not change. The senior exemption is safe. And no matter what decision is made in this process, a floating homestead exemption will exist at the end of this process. And in fact, one does exist today. That's the promise we made to you, and that's a promise that we intend to keep.
So the question before the school board right now is whether or not to opt out of House Bill 581. That information is out there, and I think a mismessage that has gotten out there is that we're trying to opt out of that without people understanding that that's because we already have one that was put in place on January 1st, one that we developed locally as opposed to being imposed on us. We have a very short period of time, March 1st is the deadline, to be able to legally opt out of House Bill 581. And so we've got 3 hearings set up from now until the beginning of February, where you get an opportunity to come and tell us your thoughts on this. And again, we want to hear from you, but we also want you to be informed and know that we believe, at least at this point, we really believe that our own locally developed cap that came through House Bill 717 and that you passed at the most recent election is the right fit for Forsyth County Schools.
And so we'll leave you with this. This is comparable to if your job can pay you a different amount every paycheck and you never really know what it is. That's what it would be like for the school system if we signed on to a variable cap, where a fixed cap allows us to responsibly and reliably budget our school system and continue to provide you guys the services that our county has become used to, and a top-notch, second-to-none education, and to continue to be the highest performing school system in the state of Georgia. That's our priority, to keep your kids safe, connected, and thriving, and we believe that House Bill 717 lets us do that in longevity and with certainty.
So we encourage you before those hearings to go to our Forsyth County Schools website, and you will find a page on there dedicated to this decision that we've got to make. And it also provides you a great side-by-side that shows you comparison of House Bill 717, our local cap, and House Bill 581, the one that we're hoping to opt out of. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you at the hearings.